I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders, past and present.
As most of you know, the lack of education in our society has largely increased. Today, my group and I will be explaining and giving solutions on how to help Indigenous and Torres Strait Islanders receive the education they deserve. Barriers to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders children's education varies from different aspects. Firstly, teaching materials are a degrading factor where the teachers teach inappropriate context, meaning the stories they tell or things they teach do not relate to the way Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people live. Also, there barely is any Aboriginal history being taught to the children, therefore the experiences that they have taught will not relate to the way they live, as said above. Secondly, another issue that is lacking in education is that there are few teachers, especially fewer, teaching Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders children, and Indigenous teachers would be more appropriate as they bring a rather larger range of fewer teachers. Poor teaching quality exists in these communities. Students are eager to learn but cannot make a hug amount of progress because full-time teachers are really low, or they are not skilled in teaching English or basic mathematics. Thirdly, uneducated parents due to horrific historic events play a big role. These parents may not know where or how to access education opportunities for their children. Also, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders parents are generally scared to allow their children in a schooling environment as they are concerned of their children being taken away due to past events, such as the stolen generation. Lastly, the biggest barrier against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders children receiving education is the fact that there is barely any places, schools or teachers available to school the children. It is essential that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders youth are provided with the opportunities to learn, engage and be involved in education, dialogues and decisions as they have an equal right just like all of us, and it's only fair. Only 0.7% of all teachers in Australia are Aboriginal teachers, and Aboriginal students who embark to become a teacher more than half since 1998. Aboriginal teachers bring a wider range of cultural perspectives into schools and develop networks with Aboriginal communities around the school. A solution could be teaching method, teacher and facilities, provide more resources and produce more Aboriginal teachers for Aboriginal people, which will help Aboriginal people feel safe and motivated towards education and younger Aboriginal students. Percentage will increase by performing their own culture and also get education that which will bring awareness regarding education. While fund is provided from the Government of Australia, the head of the fund should be an Aboriginal who understands the situation, history and able to deal with the situation. She or he will do the best for development of the community, will be a good progress in Aboriginal community, like better schooling program regarding their need, maximum class and tutorial should provide enough resources for education needs. Number 2 is educate Aboriginal people regarding health and safety awareness regarding health and safety, which will help children to be safe from all different bad things like drugs, alcohol and sex in early age. This will cover under education systems, which will help young children to be focused towards their future and not allow anybody misuse them in any condition. And number 3 is education systems and changes. Most of the children leave school because of the freedom in school, what they want to do, what they want to achieve, not allowed to dream for future and big goals in such conditions. No one will be able to continue schoolings. Governments must bring changes and teach history of Aboriginal and bring stories regarding Aboriginal people, not just about white men, which will allow the students to know that, yes, Aboriginal people own the land and have more rights on the land than others. By that is, will allow students to show sign of respect for whole of the Aboriginal community. Education is the roots of all solutions. In every community, being aware of the environments and social communities and even though bring thought of equality in society, which will remove all racism and stereotyped and thinking from the society and close the gap between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people.
Education is a vital tool for groups and communities to increase the standard of living. Without education, individuals lack the knowledge of the risk factors that some unhealthy behaviour possesses. For example, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders in Australia have an average of 80% students attendance rates in 2018 compared to non-Indigenous students at 90%, closely the GAP report of 2019. School attendance rates have not improved for both Indigenous and non-Indigenous students between 2014 and 2018. Closing the GAP report 2019, modern problems require modern solutions. Unfortunately, in this day and age, this is possible through the internet. With websites such as How's Your Sugar website, it provides resources for Indigenous people to interact with their people and community by using a narrative approach, which ties in with the culture and views. This website helps by providing internet stories and details of how to manage many health issues such as diabetes, smoking, drinking, and so on. Websites like this can utilize as a free education tool and expand their knowledge, which ultimately increases in standard of living. The lack of resources is a key reason for the education gap within non-Indigenous and Indigenous Australians. When you go overlook the education issue as a whole, it is evident that there is a disadvantage relating to education and health Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' life through. Acknowledgement and recognition is a prime solution to initiate the plan of action of preventing this issue from occurring again and releasing websites like How's Your Sugar and projects like Closing the Gap Australia.